The Rio Olympic Velodrome, it is a wonderful building, and we're about to zero in to the great atmosphere on the track for a very interesting session of action for you. And well, we've already seen one world record toppled on day 2 of cycling, and we've seen plenty of gold medals, especially for Great Britain, already on days 1 and 2. We've got for you the men's C4, C5 time trial final in this session, along with the men's C1 3,000 metre individual pursuit final, the men's C2 3,000 metre individual pursuit final, and the men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit final. And a couple of those are going to be very hard matchups indeed in the gold medal round. So looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. Session 1 on day 2 of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games saw some extraordinary feats with extremely close times. And not only are we looking forward to the gold medal finals in the evening session, but the bronze medal finals as well will be extremely interesting indeed. The first event, though, on the agenda for this second session on day 2 is the men's C4 to 5 1,000 metres time trial. There's 20 athletes competing, and the C4 and C5 athletes grouped together in one class. There will be a factor percentage popped into the final time for each athlete. We'll explain more to you as the event progresses. Riders seeded 1 through to 20. The final rider today will be Jodie Cundy, who from Great Britain has a point to prove after some disappointment in London 2012. 4 years ago he had a false start, and the judges deemed that he was in error. It was not a technical fault, it wasn't a problem with the equipment. So he's stuck it out for another 4 years, and he's going for gold. He says he wants nothing less than to take home a gold medal from this event. The world record in the C5 category is held by Alfonso Cabello. That was set back in April 2014. The Paralympic record set by the same athlete. He's from Spain. That was in London 2012. And the C4, Jodie Cundy, is the record holder. He set the Paralympic record in Beijing 8 years ago, and in Mexico set the world record 4 years ago.
A field of 20 in the start list for the men's 1,000 metre time trial C4, C5 classification, including a couple of athletes from the host nation of Brazil, Solito Gore and also Lauro Cesar Sharman. And heading down the list, all the way down, last but not least, Jodie Cundy, who is so keen to win that gold medal after he believes he was robbed from it in London 4 years ago, and has the map from London to Rio painted on his prosthesis to indicate and to show him the way to take the lost gold. It's basically like a pirate's map on his prosthesis. It's the lost gold. He's looking to find it here in Rio at the 2016 Paralympic Games. So all is in readiness. Last minute warm-ups. You can see the Yehor Dementiev in the background from the Ukraine. And on screen there from China, we have one of our athletes competing in the individual pursuit finals. So plenty of activity going on here at the moment in the Velodrome Olimpico de Rio. But our first event is scheduled, and that is the men's C4, C5 1,000 metre time trial competition. And our first athlete will be on the track in a matter of moments from Cuba, Damian Lopez Alfonso, and here he is. So he is in the C4 classification. So he is one of the athletes that has a percentage next to his name, a factor of 96.87%. Now that is up against his time, which will mean that the times can be squared off against the C5 classification, and in the end we'll get an overall first, second and third.
So the 39-year-old from Cuba resides in Havana and competes in the road race events as well, as we prepare for 4 laps of the velodrome. So 4 laps of 250 metres on the track, 12th
in the 4,000 metre individual pursuit in London and finished just outside the top 20 in this particular discipline, and has also performed well in the road racing, including 2 top 15 finishes on the road in London 4 years ago. So it's otherwise known as the kilo, the 1,000 metres. It's a test of speed, but also endurance. And many in the cycling world say that this 1,000 metre time trial discipline can almost be intolerable on the body. So it really is about breaking the pain barrier and just forging on. So heading towards the 750 metre marker with just 1 lap left of the track after this, Damien Lopez Alfonso, and he greets the bell.
So 1 lap to go, 57.877 for the first 750 metres. The first athlete to go in this session 2 on day 2 of the track cycling program. And Damien Lopez Alfonso, the athlete from Cuba, coming down the home straight, crossing the line in 1:16.973. And average, that has been factored down to 1:14.563. That's the factored time there.
It's just getting a little bit tired in the last 100 metres or so, really putting in the big breaths late. So the factored time, 1:14.563, an average speed for Damien Lopez Alfonso of 48.281 kilometres an hour.
You had a very good start there, and the start is absolutely crucial in this shorter distance of 1,000 metres. Of course, these athletes also race over the 3,000 and 4,000 metre distances, and very, very important in that 1,000 metres. There is no margin for error whatsoever, so the aim is to crank it out as quickly as you can, reach maximum VO2 max, and go as hard as you can and sustain it for those 4 laps of the velodrome. As we see our second athlete, Jose Frank Rodriguez from the Dominican Republic.
Yes, 38 years of age, and on the track was in the top 10, 9th in the pursuit, the 4-kilometre pursuit at the Pan American Games in Toronto, and also has competed well in road racing, including just outside the medals in the Pan American Games last year.
Slightly awkward start there. It seemed as though for a moment he may have gotten caught a little on the release gate, but it is clean now, so get an early indication here, the time to beat. Slightly under the time. Jose Frank Rodriguez is a C5 athlete, so there is no factor coming into play here. So the time you see is the time that he will receive at the end of his effort.
Has competed in able-bodied cycling competitions along the way, coached by their national coach in Race and Felix, Jose Frank Rodriguez from the Dominican Republic, and at halfway is 0.6 in front of Damien Lopez Alfonso from Cuba. So we'll get a guide here at the 750 metre mark. Is that margin increasing or decreasing? It's decreasing, in fact. Only 0.172 between Jose Frank and also Lopez Alfonso from Cuba. A
very, very difficult event. It appears he may have been tiring just a little. Let's see if Rodriguez can power down that home straight, so needs to beat 1:14.563. And he has only just.
Yes, there wasn't much in that. 1:14.427. So nothing between our first 2 heat riders here in the men's C4C 5,000 metre time trial. The 38-year-old from the Dominican Republic just getting over the line ahead of Damien Lopez Alfonso, but there was very little in it.
So we have an athlete from the United States, Scott Martin, a C4 athlete, so he will receive a factored time. Again, that percentage is 96.87, and that is because the 2 classes, the C4 and C5 athletes, are competing together in this time trial event. So 20 athletes in total. Martin is number 3, and we will know the result. We'll have a medal result for you at the end of proceedings here.
Our next rider is Scott Martin from the USA. There he is, 34 years of age, was born in Michigan City and resides in Colorado Springs in the United States. And on the track, some good results in the Para Championships, the Pan American Championships, with a 6th in the pursuit last year, and also just outside the medals at World Championships a couple of years ago. And has performed on the road as well, and will be a part of that road race with 5 events next to his name at the Rio Paralympic Games. It's going to be nice and busy for him.
So Jeffrey Scott Martin is away nicely there. He is an Army veteran. He did acquire a brain injury and paralysis on his right side after he was serving in Iraq in 2006. And he had a bad injury to his right knee, which sidelined him for most of the 2015 season. So it's great to see him back on the bike and competing well.
Yes, Scott is his middle name, but a lot of his friends and also colleagues go by the name of Scott, so he likes to race under Scott Martin, and the time to beat is 39.539, so just off the mark at the moment, but not by a great deal for this 34-year-old from the USA. And really powering now. Gee whiz, he got to the halfway mark and said it's time to put the foot down. 57.642. Look at that, he's almost 2 seconds quicker. So really lifting the final 1,000 meters. The lactic acid might be creeping in, but he's really powering through the pain barrier now.
And Scott Martin down the home straight, the time to beat 1:14, and he's down to 1:12. So we're seeing the time slowly creep down, and that factored time has brought that time even down even further.
So his real time was 1:12.522, factored in with that percentage, 1:10.252, our leader after 3 riders.
Average speed there of just over 51 kilometres an hour, and he really did ease into that. He had an okay start, but certainly by lap 3 he absolutely found his rhythm and had a very, very strong finish. And perhaps his road cycling pedigree having a lot to do with that kick in the final stages of that race. And our next athlete, number 4 to ride, is a big favourite with the home crowd because it's a Brazilian athlete, Solito Goa.
He's 42 years of age and has been competing for a long time, including at 2 previous Paralympic Games in Beijing and also London.
So Gore is a C5 athlete. You can hear the crowd there absolutely behind their local hope. And in Beijing 8 years ago managed 4th place in the 4 kilometre pursuit and was 9th in the LC1 of this event.
And have a listen to the roar here at the Velodromo Olimpico de Rio. They're bringing the roof down, cheering on Solito as he heads towards the back section. First sectional, he is under the mark by half a second.
So Solito trying to better his position that he finished in 16th in London 4 years ago. He is a C5 athlete, so his time will stand. There's no factor in play.
So it's going to be nip and tuck, that's for sure. So the time he has to beat is 1:10.252 at the moment next to the name of Scott Martin. And you can see there the comparison on the left of screen, and just losing a bit of ground now as he gets to that crucial halfway stage where it gets really tough on the body.
So 1 lap to go. 55.750, the time to beat 1:10.252. The crowd's going to wheel him over the line. Final bend of the velodrome.
You can see every bit of capacity used every muscle he possibly can, and it's 113.425, and that will stand 113.425, which puts him in second out of 4 at this stage.
So just to give you an indication, the C5 world record is 101.683. So we are well outside that mark at the moment, but as we move through the different seeds of the competition, we will see times drop further and further. Jodie Cundy, the C4 world record holder, at 101.466.
Our next rider is Dane Wilson from South Africa, 34 years of age, resides in Pretoria, was born in Durban, and at the World Championships this year finished 11th on the road in the scratch race, but plenty of track experience at World Championship level as well. And in the 1,000 metre time trial, the best results that we can find was from the 2016 World Championships earlier this year in Motochiari, finishing in 12th place. We'll be hoping to improve on that in this field of 20 in this Paralympic event.
Clean start, so crucial. The 34-year-old, who is a C5 category rider, so his time will stand as well.
Yes, so no factored time required, and off to a really good start, and you can see the bike swerving higher on the velodrome, which means he's putting in maximum effort, or at least he's trying to at this stage. So 30.810 at the 375 metre mark, well and truly capitalising on the clock. 2 seconds faster than anybody else at the moment, but will the early exertions mean fatigue will set in? This is where he has to just grip on for dear life and just hold on. 1.5 seconds quicker, he's going well.
So that lead just dropping back ever so slightly. So what we're seeing is these athletes are starting to tire in the final 2 laps. And it will be interesting to see in the latter stages of the competition with the successful athletes who's able to maintain speed for the last 2 laps. As he comes down the straight, the time's beat 1:10.252. And he's just slipped down to second position, but a good ride. He looked great for the first 3 laps, just easing up a little.
That was the tactic, wasn't it? Just go for broke at the start, and you could see the power in the legs decreasing in the final 125 metres. He was a tired rider by the end, but second best after 5 riders in this men's C4, C5 1,000 metre time trial. So we are a quarter of a way through the field, and at this early stage in the standings, it's Scott Martin from the USA who lead, ahead of Dane Wilson, Solito Gore and Jose Frank Rodriguez. The margin at the moment is 0.7. So next from Czech Republic is Tomáš Kažnar, the 38-year-old who also resides in Czech Republic. And we haven't seen too many top-notch road performances, but on the track, 6th in the 4,000 metre individual pursuit at the World Championships, 9th in the team sprint and 11th in the time trial, so some consistent results.
And yet another of these athletes who has an extremely busy schedule for the duration of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. He has 5 events in total. This is his first of those. And of course, as we've been mentioning, the road racing takes place in week 2. So the track events are dealt with in the first 4 days of the Paralympic Games.
Named the best athlete with an impairment in 2012 and 2015 in the Czech Republic.
Lost the use of his left hand when he dropped a large stone on it when he was working as a mason in 2001. Another C5 athlete.
So the 38-year-old from Czech Republic on his journey for 1,000 meters, 4 laps.
Takes to the saddle, gets on those aero bars, assumes the aerodynamic position. And after 1 lap, he's almost a second and a half quicker. But can he maintain that speed? That's the question. We're seeing the early cyclists drop off in the latter stages of the race. 4 laps of the velodrome.
Well, this has been an explosive start. 1.6 seconds quicker and holds that at 1.69. So this is impressive so far from Tomáš Kažna. Can he sustain it? You can still see the power in the legs. Going pretty well, a second and a half in front. Will receive the Paralympic bell, and with 1 lap to go, the time to beat at this stage is 1:10.252.
Well, this is going to be very interesting indeed. The lead had dropped back again, now less than a second. Can he power down the last straight and try and get under that 1:10.252? He has managed to do it, so in the lead for the meantime, 1:09.741, the Czech athlete.
Always exciting to watch because you know they're getting tired. They're just desperate for the line. And he was getting tired, but it was enough to get into the lead. 1:09.741 for Tomáš Kažna. Kažna leads at the moment, 1:09.74 ahead of, in second place, Scott Martin, 1:10.252. And expect some cheers around the velodrome in a moment.
Well, we almost don't need the official introduction, but we do know it is another Brazilian athlete, Lauro Cesar Chaman. He's 29 years of age. And again, is a multidisciplined athlete. He's got 4 events on his schedule for the Rio 2016 Games. And in the Pan American Games in 2015 in Toronto, he was second in the 4-kilometre pursuit. And in this event in Mochiari earlier this year in the World Championships was 6th in the C5 time trial.
So the 29-year-old from Brazil is on his way.
And the crowd absolutely loving having some local athletes to cheer on at the velodrome for the second session of day 2 of the track cycling.
And on the way up, this man, 2015 Paracyclist of the Year. And that was voted by the Brazilian Paralympic Committee. And this has been a quick start, 29.128. Ah, yes, 0.4 underneath of that.
He's just drifted above the red sprinters line as he took that turn. The crowd certainly giving their efforts, willing him home. So at the 3/4 mark coming up, we'll get an idea of just how he's going. That lead is dropping back just ever so slightly.
So plenty of noise inside the velodrome, urged on by his coach on the side of the velodrome. So let's see if he can do it. Time to beat there. Yes, he's doing well. 0.2. He's on track if he can sustain it. A few of the earlier riders got tired. He's been able to keep going, and he did it really well. 0.3 under, and the place has erupted.
Well, what a great experience competing in front of a home crowd. And Chaman is a C5 athlete, so 1:09.423 is his time going forward. 7 athletes down, we have 20 in total.
Well, it won't be enough for a gold medal. In fact, it might not be enough for a medal at all. But at least the crowd have been given a massive thrill chasing down the previous leader, Lauro Cesar Chaman.
And nice to see him enjoying the crowd there and doing a little victory lap as well.
Indeed.
Currently leading the competition, but for how long? Well, we will wait and see.
Well, it's been captured on camera now, so he can reflect on that for the rest of his years. And now, just saluting the crowd is Rio De Janeiro from Czech Republic, really taking every opportunity of his moment here at the Paralympic Games. 41 years of age, De Janeiro, and is born and resides in a beautiful part of the world in Prague, and the defending road time trial champion, and has won the road time trial at 3 Olympic Games, Paralympic Games in London, Beijing, Athens, and was a winner of this event all the way back in Sydney in 2000.
Yes, so a very decorated paracycling competitor here in Jezek. And look, there's so many great results at World Championship level. Multiple gold, silver and bronze medals over the years. A long and illustrious career, and he's still only 41. That seems as if he's been around a lot longer. So a slowish start by his standards. But don't forget, Jezek is a C4 athlete, so there will be a factored time, so that deficit that you see at the moment will change a little in the final result.
So we're heading towards past halfway for the 41-year-old Rio De Janeiro, who has competed at Paralympics all the way from Sydney 2000. It's been a terrific performance to sustain such a high level of athleticism and endurance along the way. Now, the overall time that needs to be beaten here is 109.423, held by Sharman, the Brazilian. Let's see. The factored time will come into play, and 110.848, so just outside. The real time was 113.138, but with the factor being the C4 factor, the percentage that is posted with the time, that changes to a factored time of 110.848. So, to put it simply, the real time is then times next to the percentage, which just takes a little chunk off to make the event a little bit more equitable for the C4s and C5s.
That's right, so a way of evening out competition when we have two categories grouped into one. And our next rider is from Colombia as well, Diego German Duenas Gomez. He's from Bogota, 26 years of age, and is a road cyclist as well as a track cyclist. He was 13th in this event in London in 2012 and 4th in the C4 4,000 metres individual pursuit in London as well. So experienced at this level. He's competed in multiple world championships. Let's see if he can better his London result here.
5th in the time trial, the road time trial in London. And on the track finished in 13th position. As you mentioned, his individual pursuit was good in 4th place, and a gold medalist at the Pan American Games in Toronto last year on the track in the pursuit.
So the Colombian is away, and he is a C4 athlete as well, so remembering that factored time. We'll get that shortly after he crosses the finish line.
So at this stage, just 0.5 outside, but with the factored time, that won't be too much of a concern for him early. Keeping a consistent line at this stage, heading into that corner and not deviating at all. A picture of concentration, trying to get every little bit of aerodynamics out of the body also. Time to beat 37.67, 1.3 outside.
So the stadium announcer just trying to get the crowd a little more involved. They may have run out of puff after cheering on their home athletes, but Duenas Gomez into his final lap now.
Well, after all, the Brazilian leads at the moment with a time of 109.423, so they don't want to cheer too loudly. But here comes the Colombian down towards the line, 111.66 the time to beat, and now the factored time in 110.033, which means he sits in third place. That's a lovely ride.
It is indeed. So the C4 record at Paralympic record, set by Jodie Cundy, 105.466. That was in Beijing 8 years ago. Wasn't beaten in London. The world record, 101.466, set in Mexico in 2014. Also by Jodie Cundy from Great Britain.
It was a neat display by the Colombian, just keeping his form really well throughout. As we now move on to Byron Raubenheimer from New Zealand, the 25-year-old who is competing in just the individual pursuit and also the time trial here on the track. And in World Championships, 9th in this event at Montechiari earlier in the year.
And a relative newcomer to paracycling. He took up the sport in January 2014. He had a career in para snowboarding and realised when he quit that sport something was missing in his life, so he tried out cycling and absolutely loved it. So 2 events, as you mentioned. This is his first of these games, the C4 to 5 1,000 metres time trial. He'll also compete in the C4 4,000 metres individual pursuit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please now welcome to the track, arriving as 9th in the World Championships.
So 9th in the World Championships and works as a chef at the Regatta Bar and Eatery in Auckland. So I'm sure they will be sitting near a television screen watching Byron Raubenheimer, who was initially born in South Africa, moved to New Zealand as a 9-year-old. And this is the first of his 2 competitions here at the Rio Paralympic Games in 2016. Byron Raubenheimer. And there is a look of determination and concentration.
Great start there by Raubenheimer, and the time to beat, as we've seen, 109.423, the Brazilian athlete, and so the home crowd politely cheering.
So a very good start, less than a second underneath the time to beat in the early stages, and sustains that through the first lap of 4 in this very tough kilo, the 1,000-metre time trial C4, C5 category. So it's been a busy life. An athlete, loves snowboarding. He's a chef at home. He's coached by John O'Haleston, the national coach here of the cycling team in New Zealand. And the 25-year-old is looking to add to all of that with some success at the Paralympic Games. And look at the time, he's a 1.5 seconds clear.
And not forgetting, of course, he's a C4 athlete as well, so the overall time will come down just a fraction again. But Raubenheimer really stamping his authority. He's rider number 10, so we're coming up to exactly the halfway mark of this competition.
111.666, he's done very well. 111.043, and with the factor percentage going in, he is clearly the leader at this point. 108.819, and overtakes the Brazilian to be in front after we've reached the halfway mark of 10 riders in this 1,000-metre time trial.
So it's so crucial to get a good start in this short distance. It really is just a sprint, reaching your maximum effort as quickly as possible and powering through the pain barrier. Well, he looked fantastic throughout those 4 laps, looked very comfortable and very strong. So if we take a quick check on screen for you, there's the leaderboard as it stands at the halfway point through this competition. The New Zealander, Byron Raubenheimer, in the lead, followed by Brazil, Czech, Colombia and the USA, rounding out the top 5.
Yes, the Czech Republic and also Colombia, with another athlete to come in the final 10. So fast and furious, the men's C4, C5 1,000-meter time trial. We move on to our next competitor, which is Ihor Dementiev from Ukraine, the 29-year-old who is competing in 4 disciplines here at Rio 2016, and the gold medalist in the road race and the time trial at London 2016, and in this event on the track was 8th in London, 4th in the individual pursuit. So the track is his secondary forte.
Yes, it is. Dementiev is a C5 rider. But certainly he'll be looking to defend his London title next week in the road race in week 2 of the Rio 16 Paralympic Games. Another clean start. So all the athletes so far have gotten out of the blocks very well. It's a difficult thing to do, to time it with the start gate when you're balancing with your feet strapped into those pedals, cleats plus straps very tightly. Staying out of the saddle just a little longer. Now assuming the position on the aero bars, 3/4 of a way around his first lap. And well under.
And rolling,
yeah,
there,
it was indeed. So it does take extra effort, extra energy to be out of the saddle. So it's obviously a method he uses to suit, but we're coming up to the 500-metre mark and he's going to be just over the mark needed, and remembering there is no factor in play here, so the time you see is the time he will post in its totality.
Victor has coached cycling in the Ukraine, Victor Dementiev, so well known over there in this particular sport after competing in able-bodied cycling for 13 years. And at this stage, just 0.5 over. But with the C5 classification, that time will stand. So it's 1:08.555. He's in front. It's been a terrific ride. So with that classification, taking out all of the factored times from the C4s, he is in front.
Well, that was a surprise, because basically what happened there was the final half of the final lap. He just found something, dug in deep, and absolutely powered home. So he was trailing by about, I think it was about 0.4 of a second going into the final lap, and really has managed to finish strong. But you will see that with the road cyclists. They do just have that extra kick sometimes because they've got their miles in their legs. And some endurance they can use to pay off in that race. So they're coming through thick and fast now. We are up to rider number 12. He's from the Czech Republic. He's a C4, Yuri Buska, 36-year-old, and this is his 4th Paralympic Games. He had silver in Beijing 8 years ago in this event. So again, another very experienced athlete. And was the Para-Athlete of the Year in the Czech Republic in 2006 and 2014, and received the King of Cycling Award from the Czech Cycling Federation in 2014 as well. So very popular and successful athlete, Yuri Buska from Czech.
So he made his international debut for Czech Republic all the way back in 2001, the European Championships that were staged in Switzerland. So he has kept that high performance for quite a long time, 15 years in fact. And at this early stage, his time is comparable.
So Yuri Buska from Czech Republic, also a strong road cyclist. In London, he was the bronze medalist in the time trial road edition and has had a lot of success in the Road World Championships, as well as he's certainly starting to turn up the pressure here, almost a half second in front.
And keep in mind there will be a factored time here as well, so this is increasing the 0.58, and the point you made about the road cyclist, the endurance is always very good. So with 1 lap to go, he's 0.6 in front, just needs to hold it, just wanted to lean back a little bit there. Yes, just decreasing a little bit, needs to keep the power in the legs. Just a couple of slower strides into the straight. Is he going to hold on? 1:10.395. It's a good time. It was a quicker time anyway, and the factored time is 1:08.191.
Well, again, illustrating that there's so little margin for error in this race. There's less than half a second separating Dementiev from Raubenheimer.
So leading at the moment is Buska, 1:08.191 ahead of Dementiev, Raubenheimer. There's a real clump of them. There's not a great deal between them at all, with still 8 riders to come.
So we have a Japanese cyclist up next. Ishi Masashi, he's a C4 category cyclist as well, so he's rider number 13 and will receive a factored time. The crowd encouraged to get involved in the latter stages of this competition. You are watching the men's C4 and 5 category 1,000 metres time trial, 20 competitors in total. Ishii from Japan is number 13.
43 years of age, and at the Para-Asian Games in Incheon, Korea, finished second in the 4-kilometre pursuit, but was the 1,000-metre time trial gold medalist in Beijing, and also runner-up in the 4-kilometre pursuit. So performing at Paralympic level is absolutely no barrier for Masashi Ishii. Experienced campaigner with a swag of World Championships results as well.
And we're seeing actually through this competition a lot of very experienced Paralympians who've competed and medalled at multiple games. So Masashi Ishii, C4 rider, 43 years of age, from Japan. Let's get an early indication of how his start was, and it has been a very good start. And don't forget, of course, the factored time will be in play for this round.
Competed in able-bodied cycling in Japan at national level prior to an accident, a traffic accident, received a Citizens Honorary Award in 2009, but has been competing for Japan for 10 years. Is this going to be the icing of a cake after a decade? As we go through the halfway mark, 44.933 at the 625 mark. He's less than a second. So that's excellent work, and there will be a factored time as well, so he's going very well.
So another multidiscipline cyclist who competes in the road as well. We'll have a few events next week, but he'd love to get this year's campaign off to a good start here in Rio. As he comes down the final straight, the time to beat 1:10.394, and he's done it, but that's going to come down further. So the official time, 1:07 we're down to now.
Yes, just slowly chipping away, aren't we? 1:07.437, which means he leads ahead of Buska from Czech Republic and Dementiev in 3rd place. His real time is, he was 1:09.616, and with the factor percentage, 53.38 kilometres an hour, the time 1:07.437.
And so as a category 4 rider, Ishii actually wasn't too far outside that Paralympic record, a few seconds of 1:05.466, so 1:07.437 is the leading time to beat. And we are now looking towards rider number 14 from the United States.
Yes, Christopher Murphy, 31 years of age and resides in Colorado Springs. Has competed in para-cycling and also that was on the track and the road at the Pan American Games in Toronto. He's worked as a musician as well along the way. A very talented man.
Working at Disneyland. There
Yeah.
you go. So, 5th in this event in Montechiari in Italy in March this year. And also competed at various world championships in road racing as well. So Christopher Murphy, Chris, his friends like to call him, from Colorado Springs. 107.437, the time to beat at this stage of the competition.
Featured as a background musician in the 2013 film Gangster for Warner Brothers. Well, he doesn't want to be in the background here. He wants to be front and center.
Clean start there by Chris Murphy, the 31-year-old from Colorado Springs, where a number of the paracycling athletes are based. So he's a C5, so no factor in his time. So 0.984 down after one lap, but can he power on? Let's see what endurance he has. He's got to reach that top speed and hold it for as long as he can.
But it looks as though it's going to be a mountain to climb here at this stage. 107.437 is the overall time to beat. And down towards the back section, we'll see at this sectional that he sustains at 1.1 behind. And if he can just try and hold on here and hang tough, he may be able to whittle it down to 0.975. So he's kicked here. He is trying to lift, and this is going to have to be a really brave ride. He is whittling it down. Is it going to be enough, though, into the final straight? 107.437 the time to beat. In the end, it was 108.119. Being a C5, there's no factored time. So that will stand at 108.119, which has him in second position at the moment behind the Japanese rider in Masashi Ishii.
And still 6 riders to come in this C4 and 5 1,000 metres time trial. So now the waiting game for Chris Murphy to see whether he can stay in range of the medals, knowing, of course, that there are some extremely fine athletes yet to compete.
So Colombia again. This time it's Edwin Fabian Matiz Ruiz, the 23-year-old, one of the youngest in the field. And as I peruse down the list, he would be the second youngest behind Capello Lamas from Spain.
And lost the lower part of his left arm in an explosion in 2008. His coach is Jose Castro. He's the national coach of Colombia paracycling.
So fourth in the World Championships in this discipline, the 1,000 metre time trial, and also sixth at the World Championships the year prior. And bronze medalist at the Pan American Games in Toronto in the 4-kilometre pursuit. So some good results. Can he make this his biggest result to date?
And another C5 athlete as well. Didn't look like the greatest start, but he'll settle quickly. Again, we're seeing him staying out of that saddle for that slightly extended period. It looks as though, no, not quite as long as a couple of the other riders we've seen, but settling in nicely onto the aero bars, trying to find some rhythm. And he's off to a great start, 0.330 under the fastest time.
Oh,
and
he's really
growing.
worked hard.
He certainly has.
He's worked hard. He's 0.8 underneath now. So this has been a fantastic display by Edwin Fabian Matiz Ruiz. Can he sustain it, though? That's the big question.
Well, he's grown that lead again, so almost a second and a half. He's building and building, and he doesn't want a fourth place again. He's going to want to end in the medals.
Looking to post a good time here. This time will stand as well, being a C5 106.248. That was impressive because he was behind early. Put so much energy into the start. It didn't capitalise on the clock, but gee, didn't he lift late?
Yeah, so it was a poor start, but by the end of the first lap, he'd certainly regained equilibrium and found some momentum and really built and built and built through the remaining 3 laps. It was a great ride by the Colombian. So just 5 riders left. We're working through the field. There's an update of the standings at the moment.
Yes, the exuberance of youth, perhaps. The second youngest in the field of 20, Edwin Fabian Matiz Ruiz, leading from Masashi Ishii and Christopher Murphy, who, even though he sits in the bronze medal position, you would expect he would be overtaken in the final 5 riders. The seedings, the way they operate.
And on our screen now is Wei Guoping from China. Now, he won a bronze in the World Championships earlier this year in Montechiari in Italy in this event for the C4 category. And has had varying levels of success at World Championship level over the years, but he's another youngster in the field, 26 years of age.
What about record in team sprinting? The victory at Apeldoorn in Netherlands last year, and also the bronze medal in this event at World Championships only in March. So coming in improved form, on an upward spiral, the 26-year-old. So expect Wei Guoping to go very well. Coached by Li Ping.
And another one of our para cyclists from China, based in the beautiful city of Guangzhou in the southern part of China. Very popular tourist destination, and a number of the para cycling athletes based there. And I'd say some of them would be in the centre of the track cheering him on right now. Wei Guoping, the 26-year-old from China.
Time to beat, 106.248.
So Wei Guoping is a C4 athlete, so the factor will come into play here.
Yes, of the final 5 riders, 3 of them in the C4 classification, and you could already see off to a flying start down the back there. Wei Guoping off the saddle and putting everything he can put into it, and really capitalising on the clock with 0.8 the lead at the moment. Now at the 375, that's down to 0.5.
Well, he's looking absolutely beautiful on the bike there. Fluid motion, relaxed, not tensing up, and I do suspect that was Coach Li Ping urging his cyclist on in the latter stages, and he has dropped back just a little, so 0.3 over, but don't forget that won't be the actual time. The raw time will change.
A lot of early exertion, and you could see the momentum just slipping away. So 59.454, how close is he going to be here? It's a second over. The factored time will help, but will it be enough here coming into the straight for Wei Guoping? It's going to be over the real time, 3rd overall, and then with the factored time, 107.571 puts him in 3rd place. So as we get towards the business end, he's gripping on to a bronze medal with still 4 riders to come.
So it remains to be seen whether that ride will be good enough for Wei Guoping to stay in that bronze position, but with the likes of Butterworth, Cabello Lamas, Atelka and Kundi still to come, you'd have to think it might be a big ask. And on your screen there, that's John Allen Butterworth, another Team GB cyclist, and such success already for Great Britain in the track cycling at these games. They're in the hunt for their 5th gold medal. And can John Allen, the 30-year-old, deliver?
Very focused indeed. Just having a few quiet thoughts to himself before entering the field of battle, this 30-year-old who was born in Birmingham and lives in the great town of Manchester.
And another war veteran, a British Air Force veteran. He was actually injured during duty in 2007 in Iraq and was introduced to paracycling and hasn't looked back. So he set a new world record in the C5 class in his international debut in the 1 kilometre time trial. So off to a flying start. Also runs a bike shop in Stockport, England.
So the reigning silver medalist, who was runner-up in front of the massive crowd at the Velodrome in London, and winner of the 1,000-metre time trial at the World Championships back quite a long time ago, 5 years ago, runner-up this year.
One of the few cyclists we've seen in this session that isn't actually crossing over disciplines. There's only 1 or 2 of them that are just sticking to the track cycling for this program. So John Allen Butterworth really will be looking for a medal here.
As part of the Olympic torch relay before the 2012 Paralympic Games.
So you see there the issue with balance when you have an impairment. These bikes are just so difficult to balance, but now that he's got momentum, he's off and away, and gee, 0.024, so a fraction under the time. He is a C5 rider, so the time you see is the time you'll get, but he's looking fantastic.
He had a rough preparation leading into London 4 years ago. He broke his collarbone twice, which makes it very difficult when you're a Paralympian. He was runner-up there. He'd love to go one better and drape a gold medal around his neck. He's 0.375 in front, so no factored time here, but he's really doing this well. He's a second ahead now with the grueling final lap, the final lap of 4, receiving the bell.
Well, he's continuing to gain ground, but he's really going to need a bigger buffer, as big a buffer as possible if he wants to be at the top of the table, because we have some very good riders to come, but over a second in front now.
Buffer's increasing, 0.1 in front, time to beat 106.248. It's a Paralympic record of 104.733. Great Britain continue to dominate Paralympic records. That's a terrific performance and really does throw down the gauntlet now with 3 more riders to come.
Well, it absolutely does. So the Paralympic record in the C5 discipline was held by the next rider to compete, Alfonso Cabello. He's just had his record broken by the athlete from Great Britain, the 30-year-old Air Force veteran. And gee, he's set the pace for the final 3 athletes. We have 1 C5 and 2 C4 athletes remaining.
Well, that man that has just lost his Paralympic record is next. This man, who would have just witnessed that, Alfonso Cabello Lamas. Can he get it back?
Well, he is the world record holder. He set that world record in 2014, and he's going to need to be in his best form, because his former Paralympic record was beaten by more than a second. It wasn't a fine margin.
So some interesting moments here in this C4C 5,000 metre time trial as the bike is prepared, and look at him stroll out with purpose. Who'd want to get in his way at the moment?
And again, one of the youngest riders in the field at 22 years of age. So yes, as the velodrome announcer says, he's just seen his Paralympic record broken, but he is the world record holder, so we know that he can ride as fast as 1:01.683. That's a big difference of over 4 seconds from his previous Paralympic record. And he's going to need to pull something of that calibre out now here.
Looking forward to this. So 104.733 is the new Paralympic record. Will it stand? With the world record holder now set to take to the track. Good start. Let's see after 125 metres where he's at. Early stages, pretty good at 0.7.
So he's going to need to keep building on that, remembering we still have 2 quality riders still to come, and he is building on that 0.894 of a second in front. He's a C5 rider. The time will stand. There's no factor in play here. The time won't be brought down.
So 33.478 after halfway. This is where it starts to hurt. This is where the endurance has to really creep in. 0.536, going great guns here. Alfonso Cabello.
So we are seeing that lead just slip back a little. We've gone from 0.8 to 0.4. The last crucial lap coming up here down the opposing straight, and it slipped back again.
So on the line is the lead, but also a Paralympic record. Here we go. Does he get it back? Yes, he does.
Wow. That final half lap was incredible.
104.494. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Alfonso Cabello.
Well, that was an incredible final 125 metres, because on the opposite side, looked as though he was slipping back.
That was fantastic.
It was indeed.
So the 22-year-old has pulled one out of the box there, and he now is the leader with 2 riders to come, one from Slovakia and the other from Great Britain, Jody Cundy.
So that average speed of 55.819 kilometres an hour.
And fancy having to get on the bike after 2 Paralympic records have fallen within 5 minutes. What a difficult task it is facing this man, Joseph Metelka, C4 category here. The 30-year-old from Slovakia, who is a very good time trialer on the road, but also on the track at the World Championships, was runner-up this year. That was only in March, so he's in good form and has been an excellent performer in the individual pursuit over the 4,000 metres at the last 3 World Championships. In fact, he's the triple world champion in that particular discipline. But in the time trial over the last 3 World Championships, he's been runner-up.
Well, can he get a medal here today?
I love his hobby, fast cars.
Well, should list fast bikes there as well, I think. But was involved in a motorcycle accident in 2009, which resulted in his left leg being amputated below the knee. He was studying at Oxford Brookes University in England at the time, where he continues to reside, but is representing Slovakia. Metelka, the 30-year-old. Let's see what he's capable of. Clean start. So crucial.
As I mentioned, such a tough task to get on the bike after we've seen two astounding performances from John Allen Butterworth and also Alfonso Cabello. And how is he performing here? He's about a second off the pace at the moment after 250 metres, but there will be a factored time being a C4 competitor. So this is pretty close.
It is indeed, just slipping back a little more, but as we've seen with the road cyclists, they do have an incredible kick in the final lap. So we'll see what Metelka can bring to the table. He has reduced the margin ever so slightly.
Oh, he's coming back. This is going to be close. This will be close because he's only half a second outside, and there will be a percentage factored in. So he needs to really put in now to try and consolidate. He may even go close to the time. This is going to be so close. 106.577 is the time to beat.
Wow.
He beats it, and the factored time puts him in front in 104.194. 104.194. He is our new leader, Joseph Metelka from Slovakia. It's high quality cycling. So that means Metelka is in the gold medal place with one rider to come. Cabello from Spain in the silver medal place, and it looks as though John Allen Butterworth may miss out depending on how Jody Cundy goes in the final ride.
Just seeking some confirmation as to whether that was a Paralympic record. It appears that he may have gone beneath the time. But with the factor in play, we'll have to get official confirmation.
So one rider to come. This has been a big build-up for Jody Cundy. If anything, 8 years of work.
Absolutely. So, such heartbreak in London 2012 with a false start, and he said that going into that event he was in absolutely fantastic form, the best forms of his life, but that dream slipped through his fingers. He won this event in Beijing back in 2008.
And was a swimmer before that, a Paralympian in the pool. So this is his 6th Olympic or Paralympic Games in total, and you get the impression if he was able to salute here, it'd be the sweetest of them all after that drama in London. But he's in good form, winning this event in Montichiari in Italy, so he is the one to beat.
Chasing Great Britain's 5th track cycling gold medal at these games.
So the real time that he is chasing is 106.269 for this particular classification. So even though the factored time is 104.194 from Metelka, for the C4 class he is chasing 106.269. And at the moment he's doing it easily.
Wow. What a fantastic speed, but can he maintain this over the 4 laps? He's absolutely throwing down the gauntlet here. He wants that gold medal, and he's got one hand on it already. He is absolutely powering, and the margin over 2 seconds at this stage. And he's a C4 athlete, so that time will come down even further.
Well, for a sprint distance like this, that is an amazing margin of 2.173. Keeping in mind there'll be a factored time as well. It's been a long 8 years. It's been a long 4 years to wait. He's had the map to Rio written on him. And look at this, 104.492. It is a Paralympic record. The factored time is amazing, 102.473. The new gold medalist, Jody Cundy. It's another gold medal to Great Britain on the track. And that prosthesis, you can see the map, the Pirates map that has the lost gold from London to Rio, the map from London to Rio written on it to remind him every single day. And just shows you what you can do when you put your mind to it and when you want it that badly. Defending world champion in the 1,000 time trial, and now he's Paralympic champion.
Well, Jodie Cundy will be celebrating, but will be relieved as much as anything. No equipment failures, no contentious issues to deal with. It was a straight out ride, and he was the best from the start. He was so quick out of the blocks and just built and built and built on that lead throughout the 4 laps.
And just to show you the quality of the cycling, the 2 records have gone, the 2 classification Paralympic records have gone, with Cabello from Spain, the C5 classification Paralympic record of 104.494, and in the C4 classification, Cundy, a time of 102.473. So it's gold to Jodie Cundy, it is silver to Joseph Patelka, and bronze to Alfonso Cabello from Spain. John Allen Butterworth, an outstanding display, finishing just outside the medals. So as we head down the list, performing very well was Lauro Charman, who brought the crowd to life from Brazil in 12th place, but our gold medalist with the lap of honour.
And he just tapped that map on his prosthesis just to underline exactly what he's been chasing for this, well, last 4 years, but really it's been 8 years since he's tasted a sweet victory like this.
Well, he's going to amble around the velodrome and just take in every single second of it, because it's been some hard work put in.
Absolutely. Look, overcoming that disappointment from London 4 years ago. And now Great Britain has their 5th gold medal in the track cycling here at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. It's an incredible effort, and really they look almost certain to surpass their tally from London 4 years ago, which is an extraordinary effort.
You have to admire a performance like that, because it is so difficult for an athlete. You've built yourself up over 4 years, and then you just get absolutely disappointed to pick yourself up, which he's done. There he is.
Very appreciative crowd, and again pointing to that map. And
will there be a new map from Rio to Tokyo, I wonder?
That is the question. I guess we'll find out whether he feels that he has more to achieve or not. Already such a decorated Paralympic career in both the swimming and now the track cycling.
So the 20 riders have contested the men's C4, C5 1,000-metre time trial. We now move on to the pursuits, and we're going to have some thrilling action in all of these finals. And we start off with the bronze medal final in the men's 3,000-metre individual pursuit. And there was some drama leading up to the making of this bronze medal final, with Eric Winkler from Germany contesting the qualification round. And he was halfway through his qualification heat, and his prosthesis became detached from the bike, but was able to rerun his heat and qualified up against Arnold Nijhuis from Netherlands, and they are about to do battle in this bronze medal race.
And look, it'll be interesting to see how fresh Winkler is, because as we mentioned, he did ride half a heat before he had to pull out due to that problem with his bike. Well, the detachment of the prosthesis from the pedal, and luckily he was able to contest that again, riding it as a time trial. Really, he didn't have a cyclist to pursue in that event, but unfortunately for the German team, knocked out his teammate Tuber in the process to finish in 4th overall.
So just the preparations being made in the qualification times in this discipline. Winkler clocked a time of 4:02.658 and Nijhuis 4:04. So there's about 1.3 between them from qualification, but as you mentioned, there might be a little bit of a fatigue factor for Winkler, considering he basically rode a race and a half
Yes, he did, and just having to regroup after that initial drama of the prosthesis clicking out, and you'll want to make sure it's clicked in properly again this time. So different to the qualification round in the individual pursuit. If one athlete is able to catch the other, that means the race ends straight away and a victor is declared. So this is the bronze medal race for the men's C1 3,000 metre individual pursuit, the C2 and C3 categories to follow after. And the world record in this event is set by the man who's riding in the gold medal match, Li Jianyu. That's 3 minutes 50.373 seconds. So Arnold Niehaus, just 27 years of age and a good road cyclist as well. And he did win the time trial in the C3 category in the World Championships earlier this year and was third in the individual pursuit.
So away, the Dutchman Niehaus on the far side of the track, Winkler the near side as they get underway for this 3,000 metre individual pursuit bronze medal final. And an early indication, we will get at the 250 metre mark. Will Niehaus just hold a slight lead? Yes, he will.
So Winkler was fourth in this event in Beijing 8 years ago. Another experienced cyclist. He's competed in Athens in 2004.
And already a capture might be on the cards
here. It looks
here.
as though it could all be over very, very quickly indeed, and perhaps that fatigue has been an issue for Winkler. Well, congratulations to Arnold Niehaus. That was over extremely quickly, and we have seen that a little. It's been a pattern in some of the finals here, and the Netherlands will pick up another minor medal. They've had a couple in day 1 and 2. No golds yet, though.
Yes, Arnold Niehaus from Netherlands, the bronze medalist, and fantastic display from Eric Winkler from Germany throughout the sessions on day 2 of the cycling track.
So, over within a lap. Very strong performance. Obviously, Arnold Niehaus from the Netherlands was absolutely raring to go. This is the C1 category of the individual pursuit, and a little wave to the crowd. We've had some fantastic Dutch support here at the Velodrome.
Yes, they make plenty of noise. We love having the Dutch here, and another medal for them here on the track, but it could be either Canada or China for gold medal glory in the final of this division, the men's C1 3,000 metre individual pursuit. And this is going to be fascinating because we have Li Jianyu from China, the world record holder, and that was set in session 1 here on day 2, which obviously stands as a Paralympic record now as well of 350.373. Can Li Jianyu topple his own world record set earlier in the day? He had to go for broke because he had to get into the gold medal race. Will it just be about taking the gold medal here? But he's going to be pushed all the way because Ross Wilson from Canada's time is 353.666 from qualification. So this is going to be fascinating.
As we see Ross Wilson on the screen there, just making his last minute preparations, and well, Winkler has had, it's fair to say, phenomenal support at the Velodrome today after the disappointment in his heat in session 1, and then when he was able to recontest, the crowd really got behind him, and of course he's missed out on a medal here, but was very thankful to the crowd. It was lovely to see. So here we have Ross Wilson, who's going to challenge the world record holder, Li Jianyu. Li Jianyu is 28 years old, also based in Hangzhou. And Wilson from Edmonton, 34 years of age. And he's been a silver medalist twice. First in the Netherlands in 2015, the World Championships, and then earlier this year in Montechiari in Italy in this event. So 2 silvers to his name, and he's also a handy time trialist as well over the 1,000 metre distance. But it's this man, Li Jianyu. He was silver in London in this event and won the gold in the time trial. So these two very familiar competitors, it's fair to say, seen a bit of each other in the last 4 years at various international competitions, including the World Championships, but also at the last London 2012 Paralympic Games. Li Jianyu took up paracycling in 2008. And has been cycling since he was a child. His parents gave him a bike as a present and he got into it from there. But paracycling he took up seriously 8 years ago. And he was the 2014 Para Athlete of the Year in Zhejiang Province. So, Ross Wilson and Li Jianyu, who will it beat?
Well, you mentioned how many times they've seen each other at World Cup, World Championship level, etc. It doesn't matter how many times you see each other, they always say that it feels different, a Paralympic final, and they'll remember this for the rest of their lives. Can the defending champion, Li Jianyu, take a gold medal in spectacular fashion and break his own record twice? At the moment, he holds the world record of 350.373. On the other side of the track, we have the 34-year-old from Canada in Ross Wilson, who in the qualification round finished only 3 seconds off Li Jianyu. He's going to have to be faster here in the final. So after 2 laps, it is already 2.2 seconds the margin, with the Chinese athlete leading the Canadian.
Well, he's developing a healthy lead here, and he'll be aiming to catch Ross Wilson in the final stages of this, but let's just see. So nudging up towards 3-second advantage. And he can see, he'll be able to see him just as he turns onto the straight, and Li Jianyu really in hot pursuit.
So the time at the 1,000 metres was 1:16.022 ahead of Wilson's 1:19.858. Let's have a look at how that compares with the qualification. 1:16.599 was his time at the 1,000 metres. So he's quicker. He's on world record pace. Now, keeping an eye on the 2,000 metre time now, that'll be the next bit of excitement, because it was Li Jianyu at the 2,000 metre mark in the heat, 2:31.78, 2:31.78, remember that.
And he's definitely closing the gap now. There's only about 25 metres in it, and Li Jianyu, well, we may not see the world record be broken because it could all be over well before then. He's almost upon the wheel of Ross Wilson.
Well, he's well and truly on world record pace, but we're not going to see it. It is a gold medal. He's been able to capture Ross Wilson. Gold medal to Li Jianyu. It doesn't matter about the world record because he holds it anyway. But it's been a dominant display and a memorable display from the Chinese athlete. Li Jianyu victorious. The silver medal to Canada and Ross Wilson.
Well, can you have a better day out than setting a world record in session 1 and taking home the gold in session 2? It's an extraordinary effort from the 28-year-old, and as we know in these cycling events, plenty of cyclists have been riding well into their 30s and 40s, so we may well see Li Jiangyu for many more Paralympic Games to come. Backing up from the London 2012 success, and it's an excellent result for China.
So a gold medal to China. Both the bronze and gold medal races decided by the overtaking rule. And he does it again. 2 gold medals, as he indicated to the crowd there, in the men's C1 3,000 metre individual pursuit, and he's delighted. Disappointment on the face there of Ross Wilson.
That is, but gee, silver's a great achievement as well. It's been some very high quality cycling happening here, particularly in this category, the C1.
Well, it had to be a high quality time to make the final, so I'm sure once he reaches the podium and receives the silver medal, he'll realise his achievements.
So Li Jiangyu just enjoying his time, doing a victory lap. So Li Jiangyu receiving plenty of congratulations from the team there and really enjoying the moment. It's fantastic. So next up we will have a victory ceremony. Before we continue this session of cycling, we'll have the men's C2 3,000 metres individual pursuit final, followed by the men's C3 3,000 metres individual pursuit final. So a total of 4 medals on offer in this second session on day 2, and already Great Britain and China have tasted golden success, but who will it be in the final races? Well, those will be underway shortly. So the victory ceremony for the men's 1,000 metres time trial. Comfortable 20 degrees inside the Rio Olympic Velodrome on day 2. Humidity at 77%. So a few minutes away from the victory ceremony, and then 2 more medals, or medal events I should say. In fact 6 medals in total, but 2 gold medals to be fought out this afternoon.
So very shortly, the victory ceremony for the men's C4 and C5 1,000-metre time trial, where we had 20 starters, and in the end, after an exciting competition, the victorious rider from Great Britain, Jodie Cundy. It was gold to Great Britain, silver to Slovakia, bronze to Spain. 2 Paralympic records falling in both the C4 and C5 category, with Jodie Cundy's time, a factor time of 102.473, Paralympic record and gold medal winning performance. In the foreground,
the medalists.
you see from Spain, Roberto Damas, who was also the Paralympic record taker in the C5 category. So, high quality and redemption for Jodie Cundy after a dramatic end to his London Paralympic campaign.
Well, you can't really underestimate the greatness of his achievement here, to set his mind to coming back after such disappointment, sticking it out for another 4 years and not only making it to the Paralympic Games, not only winning a medal, but winning a gold medal. Great Britain's 5th gold medal of track cycling. It's absolutely raining gold for the GB team.
Board member of the International Paralympic Committee, accompanied by the Secretary of State of Rio De Janeiro's Civil House.
Miguel Sagara, PC governing board member, to officiate here. Mr. Leonardo Espíndola, Secretary of the State of Rio de Janeiro.
Bronze medalist representing Spain.
Medalha de bronze representando a Espanha, Alfonso Cabello Llama.
So a Paralympic record in the C5 classification on the way to this bronze medal.
So Alfonso Cabello Lamas from Spain, celebrating his bronze medal.
Representing Slovakia.
Medalha de prata representando a Eslováquia, Józef Metelka.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Great Britain.
Medalha de ouro e campeão paralímpico representando a Grã-Bretanha, John Cundy.
And a Paralympic record to boot, Jodie Cundy.
Gentlemen, the anthem of Great Britain.
Senhoras e senhores, o hino da Grã-Bretanha.
And there you have it. That's the 5th time the national anthem of Great Britain has been played in this velodrome at these Paralympic Games, and it's only day 2 of the track cycling program. Another 2 days to come. And the 3 athletes there posing for their photos. They'll do some media interviews and a fair bit of celebrating yet to come. Jodie Cundy tasting success there, and great news there for all athletes. The best 3 in the field of 20, that's the C4 and C5 men's 1,000 metres time trial.
So time to meet all of their media obligations and meet the press and take some photos. They'll be in the newspapers. A few more formalities before the celebrations begin. So very shortly we have further racing action with the men's C2 3,000 metre individual pursuit final, also the men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit final still to come in this session on day 2 of track cycling at Para 16, the Rio Paralympic Games. As now the flag is draped around Jodie Cundy, makes the complete picture. Noticed our mascot is wearing the appropriate hair colour as well.
I did notice that on day 1. We've got gold, silver and bronze mascot hair colours. match the medal colours. Here we have the silver medalist from Slovakia.
Very proud man indeed.
So next up, as we mentioned earlier, the men's C2 3,000 metres individual pursuit. The qualifying has already been done in session 1 on day 2, so now we're into the ride-off for the bronze, followed by the ride-off for the gold. And we have another Great Britain athlete. Lewis Rolfe will be competing against the Colombian rider Alvaro Galvez Becerra. And following that, Liang Guihua, who set a Paralympic record in this morning's qualifying, is going to be racing against Canada's Tristan Cherneau. So it'll take a few moments to prepare. We need to get the starting blocks back out. You can see them being wheeled back out onto the track. And the athletes will just be making their final preparations as well. Alvaro Galvez Becerra from Colombia is 46 years of age, riding off against the 19-year-old Lewis Rolfe from Great Britain. This is the C2 class.
Yes, so 27 years between them, but there's not a great deal between them on the clock after the qualifying round in session 1 on day 2 of the Rio Paralympic Games cycling program. Galvez Becerra clocked 3:49.238, which was only about 0.65 quicker than Lewis Rolfe's 3:49.908. So even though the 19-year-old has a little bit of time to drag back on Galvez Becerra, this could be one of the closest races we'll see of the entire track program.
And Lewis Rolfe being one of the youngest riders in the entire track program in the men's and the women's disciplines across all categories. So a great experience for him to be here, and he's earned his place. He's actually an exercise science and sports science student. Combines his studies with being an athlete. He goes to the Cambridge Regional College in Great Britain, which is where he lives and trains.
And this is Alvaro Galvez Becerra from Colombia, the 46-year-old who in London competed in the road and track cycling competitions, and in the time trial finished in 18th position. So this is a great result for the 46-year-old.
And in this event in London, he was 5th in the 3,000 metres individual pursuit, so he's at least gone one better than that. But can he nab a bronze medal?
So Rolf to the left, Galvez Becerra to the right. Galvez Becerra on the near side. And now some momentum for Rolf as he completes the first 125 metres in front by just under 2 seconds, early doors. And now it's at 2.2 seconds. So Galvez Becerra, if anything, a slow start.
Well, it is a sluggish start. We'll see whether he can build some momentum throughout the 3,000 metres. It's 12 laps of the velodrome.
So Rolf taking the team sprint in Montechiari at the World Championships earlier in the year, placed in the time trial, and in the 3,000 metre individual pursuit finished in 5th position. So this is a terrific result, racing for a bronze medal here. The bronze medal race meaning that they were the 3rd and 4th fastest times in the qualification round, and now we're in race conditions, and after 1,000 metres it's going to be Rolf just ahead of Galvez Becerra, who has lifted.
He has lifted indeed. So Galvez Becerra has nipped that deficit back.
0.243 can easily be drawn back in 1,800 metres. So Rolf needs to be careful. He's in front by 0.3, but Galvez Becerra we know can surge. He's just shown that. Can he keep the stamina up?
Well, we're still not at the halfway mark, and that deficit still staying about the same, 0.3 of a second. Galvez Becerra, the 46-year-old, racing against the youngster, the 19-year-old from Great Britain, Lewis Rolf. So
from the 1,000 metre mark, at that particular mark, it was Rolf 119.653, Galvez Becerra 119.989. So after it was over the 2-second mark, Galvez Becerra was able to stag it back at the 1,000 metres. Heading towards the 2,000 metre mark, it's at 0.6. So can Galvez Becerra lift here, or is Rolf gaining momentum?
Well, we knew this was going to be a close one, and it certainly is playing out that way. The lead is drifting around just a little, and it's a big job ahead for Lewis Rolf to hold on. And again, that deficit nipped down from 0.6 down to 0.4.
So he's done a good job at midway to sustain the pressure from Galvez Becerra, who was lifting. Now into the grueling 1,000 metres at the end. The endurance really required here at the 3,000 metres. In fact, a lot of things required in the 3,000 metres. The encouragement from the Colombian coach at the 2,000 mark. Galvez Becerra was 234.192 behind Rolf's 233.721. So there was about 0.5 in it. And now with 500 metres to go, is Rolf holding? He crosses there and leads by 1.1. So Rolf has really done a good job.
2 laps to go of this race. The bronze medal is at stake, and can Galvez Becerra lift here? He's dropping back just a little more. It looks as though Rolf may have one hand on the bronze medal.
You can
Final
see
lap.
Every little bit of capacity used from Rolf. He is really sucking in the big ones, and with 125 metres to go, has a good margin now over Galvez Becerra. It's comfortable enough here. It's now 1.8, so it's going to be Lewis Rolf, the youngster, who comes through in a time of 3:47.951. It's another medal for Great Britain. It's not gold this time, but he's the up-and-comer.
And in the end, 1.8 seconds in it, we knew that was going to be a fast final, but gee, the lead danced around just a little here and there, and at one point the deficit was down to just 0.3 of a second. So Galvis Becerra, a gallant ride there, but certainly didn't have the steam just to finish off. And congratulations to the youngster, and I suspect in the years to come we're going to be seeing a lot more of Lewis Rolfe, just 19 years of age and a bronze medal. Yet another fantastic result for Great Britain. And
Rolfe clocking 3:49.908 in his qualification round, so he's gone 2 seconds quicker in the final.
Oh, that's an extraordinary effort, particularly as a young athlete and not having as many years of endurance training and speed training behind you, to go quicker in the second session, having used so much energy in the first session of the day. That is a very, very, very good result for Lewis Rolfe. And the crowd loves it too. And he's got a sense of humour as well.
Yes, bowing to the crowd.
And look, it's early in his career, and if he's already enjoying the limelight, it bodes very well for what could be to come in the future. Embracing that pressure, the attention from the crowd, rather than shying away from it.
We're now ready for the gold medal.
Our next event is the gold medal race in the men's C2 3,000 metre individual pursuit, where we see Liang Jihua up against Christian Chenauve from Canada. Now, Jihua is the Paralympic record holder from the earlier session of 3:42.916, but he also holds the world record, which was set in China in April 2014. Chenauve, 3:44.731 was his qualifying time, around about 2 seconds slower than Hua. So Chenauve could really push Liang here, maybe to a further world record, or even push for the gold himself.
Well, he could indeed. And of course, Liang Guihua won this event in London 4 years ago. And he's a handy time trialist on the road as well, silver in London. And as you mentioned, of course, the world record holder, and reset his own Paralympic record in the earlier session on day 2. Liang Guihua, 32 years of age, so really in his prime for track cycling. And Tristan Chenauve, the 41-year-old, won this event at the World Championships just a few months ago in Italy.
So the defending champion on the right. So the defending Paralympic champion, Paralympic record holder and world record holder in Liang Jihua from China, up against the Canadian Tristan Chenauve. And let's see what happens in the early stages. And no surprise to see Liang down by 0.6, because this happened in the qualification round. He was down early, but he will accelerate.
Yes, he does take a little longer to hit his top speed, but once he's there, gee, he's a tough man to beat. And Liang Guihua, you can see here, gaining momentum, about 0.8 of a second off the pace at the moment, but it's early stages. It's a 3,000 metre event.
So the race for gold, and Chenauve will look to capitalise on this lead. He's got a little bit of pressure put on Liang, leading by 0.8 in the early stages. Now it's down to 0.7, and this is exactly where Liang accelerated in the qualification round. The next 500 metres you would expect is going to be paralysing.
So we'll get a good indication at the 1,000 metre mark just how both these athletes are travelling. But again, you can see Liang Guihua is nudging down that deficit, 0.4 of a second. There's nothing in it. 0.3 now. So you can see Liang Guihua managing to build and build and build that speed, and Chenauve will have a task ahead of him to stave off this gallant competitor.
So 0.122 in it, heading towards halfway. The world record holder and Paralympic record holder heads down the back section and is now really starting to put the foot down. This has been terrific display in the mid-race portion. Liang, he's still behind Chenov, and Chenov bravely is continuing to keep up the tempo and the consistency and the endurance, and still leads Liang, but there's basically nothing in it now.
Well, what a final this is shaping up to be. Still 1250 metres to go, and Liang Huihua's just hit the front, just. So he's really coming into his own. We know that the last 1,000 metres, his fitness is extraordinary, his power is sensational, and it looks as though he's on the hunt. He wants that gold medal, he wants to defend his title.
And I wonder if Chenov is really pushing Liang here, which means that Liang will have to use every little ounce of energy he's got and might produce a magnificent time. At the moment, 2:39.852 after 22.50.
So he's managed to build about a half-second lead. And just over that now, 0.762 of a second. It's still not much in it, and anything can happen in these last few laps, so let's keep an eye on the clock there.
Especially 2 races in one day, the fatigue might start to set in, but this is where the champion, the defending champion, is really starting to show his quality, leading now by 1.6, and Chenov is getting tired.
Liang Huihua chasing China's second track cycling medal, and the deficit now 2.158, so Liang Huihua can smell victory here. He just needs to maintain for another lap.
So let's have a look at the clock now. It looks as though Liang Huihua, we can declare him the gold medalist. What's the time going to be? The world record is 3:40.367. Where is he? He's coming around the turn. It's not going to be a world record or Paralympic medal, but it's going to be a gold medal. Fantastic win.
Well, what a fantastic performance. I mean,
the Paralympic champion has done it again.
Such consistency we see from him day in, day out, and the disadvantage he has often in the start blocks can be overcome around the 1,000-metre mark when he really hits his peak speed. And gee, it was a great effort from Tristan Chenov, a 41-year-old from Canada, who really pushed Liang Huihua the whole way.
So that has been a great display and a great day at the office. So he's got everything. The Paralympic golds in London and Rio, the Paralympic record and the world record. So that is everything in the cabinet for Liang Huihua.
And still more to come in these games as well. He has another 3 events to compete in, but what a way to start this campaign, and clearly his pet event. Also a very handy time trialist on the road, so that will be interesting to see what he manages to back up after a pretty big day out, it's fair to say. But Tristan Chenov, well, that was a great effort too. A silver medal for Canada, and he too has another 3 events at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Big congratulations there. Some nice sportsmanship between the 2 cyclists. So before we move on to the final event for the day, we are going to have the victory ceremony for the 3,000 metres individual pursuit C1 category in the men's competition.
We're going to bring you our next victory ceremony for the men's individual pursuit C1 category.
Senhoras e senhores, dentro de instantes teremos a cerimônia de premiação na prova de perseguição individual da classe C1 masculina.
So the track cycling tally thus far: Great Britain with 5 golds, China with 2, and the USA with 1. So China, I believe, won 4 gold medals in London. So could be well on their way to bettering that in the track cycling competition. So preparing for the medal ceremony here. The men's C1 3,000 metres individual pursuit, and we have Canada, rather China, Canada and the Netherlands to receive the medals. Li Jiangyu having a great time, celebrating, waving to the crowd, big grins happening, and it has been a great day out for these 3 athletes on day 2 of the competition. Another 2 days of track cycling, running from days 1 to 4 of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games.
And Li Jiangyu, he got the box set with the world record earlier in the qualification round, a time next to his name now of 350.373, and that will stand as a Paralympic record, but didn't get the chance to take that on, even though halfway through the race he was looking like he was going to topple it, because he overtook Ross Wilson, meaning that he was declared the winner, gold medalist. So it's Ross Wilson, the silver medalist from Canada, and from Netherlands, Arnold Nijs.
Will be presented by a member of the Paralympic Order, accompanied by the Secretary General of the Oceania Paralympic Committee.
As medalhas serão entregues pelo Sr. Michael Barredo, membro da Ordem Paralímpica, acompanhado pelo Sr. Mark Copland, secretário-geral do Comitê Paralímpico da Oceania.
Bronze medalist, representing the Netherlands.
Medalha de bronze, representando os Países Baixos, Arnold Nijs.
So another medal for the Dutch, with the bronze medal to Arnold Nijs.
He beat the German rider Eric Winkler quite early on in their bout, and Winkler perhaps just a little tired from his efforts today after going to pull out of the earlier heat with a malfunctioning piece of equipment with his prosthesis.
Representing Canada.
Medalha de prata, representando o Canadá, Ross Wilson.
So the 34-year-old from Canada, Ross Wilson, an excellent time in the qualification round, and he'd be disappointed with the gold medal final, but it's been a great achievement. Silver medal draped round his neck.
Works as a volunteer for Muscular Dystrophy Canada, and is also an accountant as well as an athlete.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion, representing the People's Republic of China.
Medalha de ouro, representando.
Can't take the smile off his face. He's had a great games already.
Well, he's called the Bicycle King by his mates, and he's easily proven why today. He's 28 years of age and already had such success at Paralympic level, so perhaps we will see more of him in the years to come.
So a delighted winner, and very shortly the national anthem of China.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anthem of the People's Republic of China.
Senhoras e senhores, o hino da República Popular da China.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Paralympic
So the victory ceremony complete. It was gold for China, silver Canada, bronze Netherlands.
So, a very, very busy session 2 on day 2 of the track cycling at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, and still to come, plenty more action for you. We have 2 more races. We have the final, the men's C3 3,000 metres individual pursuit. So the qualifications were in session 1, and we have Canada versus Ireland. As you can see, Michael Semets from Canada and Owen Clifford from Ireland. As they set up the starting blocks and make the final preparations. So different to the qualifying, the aim of course is to catch your opposition, and if that happens, the race ends immediately. So Canada chasing another medal here. They've just tasted success with a silver, courtesy of Ross Wilson.
We're now turning our attention back to the track for our final races of the night. This is the men's C3 3,000 metres individual pursuit. Please welcome in the back straight from Ireland, Ian Clifford.
Ian Clifford there, the 36-year-old. He resides in Galway, and he did win the bronze at the World Championships in this event at Montechiari in Italy earlier this year. And fair to say he's pretty handy in the road racing as well. Canadian, just 20 years of age, Michael Samets, the opponent.
So going off paper here from the qualification round, there was nothing in it at all, only about 0.2 of a second, with Samets clocking 3:38.459, Clifford clocking 3:38.863. So I think this is going to be one of the closest races we've seen for the entire Paralympic Games to date.
And there was nothing in it. Initially, look, 0.139 after one lap. 12 laps in total, so this is going to decide who will win the bronze medal in the men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit.
Well, that might be the theme of this race. It's going to be topsy-turvy. Clifford has a margin of 0.4 in the early stages over Michael Samets. So Samets, who holds his form consistently, can build the momentum as the race continues. 750 metres, Clifford 58.361, and at the moment leads by a second over the Canadian.
So Michael Samets has a job in front of him here, just over a second, 1.231. The Calgary-based paracyclist has 4 events on his program and stretching the lead just a little. Clifford is. He's riding very well at the early stage, but we're still not quite at the halfway mark.
So it's now 2.2, so this is blown out, and this could be the first medal on the track for Ireland. The time after 1,000 metres, 1:15.604, and for Samets it was 1:17.202. And leading into this, Clifford was the place getter in the individual pursuits at the World Championships last year and also this year, so holding the form at the moment and could convert this into a Paralympic bronze medal.
So Clifford actually hasn't been able to extend his lead any further. I thought for a moment coming onto this straight he might be able to spy Samets down the straight, but Samets is holding on here. He's not giving up. He's keeping that deficit about the same. He's not letting Clifford get any further edge on him at this point as we come up to the 2,000 metre mark. And he's reduced it just a little, so 2.494. Let's see if Samets can bring it home.
So 2.42, it looks unassailable, doesn't it? And Ian Clifford from Ireland looks down the barrel of taking a bronze medal. And there's not that long to go. Just the stamina needs to hold here now for the Irishman.
So chipping away just a little, Samets is, but there's only 2 laps to go and he's got a huge task ahead if he wants to overcome that deficit. It does look like the bronze medal is within Clifford's grasp.
It is indeed. Samets has got it down to 2.14, but just needs to hold his form, and the endurance now for Clifford is the big key. Just needs to hold on, grit his teeth, and after a big day at the office, take the bronze medal. So the final half a lap now for Ian Clifford. Samets is closing in, but it looks as though it's going to be too late. He'd be tired, Clifford, but he's going to get over the line in 3:40.201 and take the bronze medal in the men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit final.
Well, as you said, it does seem that Clifford may have tired ever so slightly. In the end, the deficit was only 1.3 seconds, so Samets can take a lot from that. He managed to finish that race very strongly. He held his nerve, and only 1.3 seconds in it in the end, and very good racing. I suspect we'll see a lot more of Michael Samets. He's just 20 years of age, and I think he's got many more track cycling competitions ahead of him, showing great promise here in Rio.
So a great couple of years of track cycling for Ian Clifford, with 2 bronze medals at World Championship level and now a bronze at the Paralympic Games in Rio. And look at Team Ireland, they're delighted. Great contingency here from the country of Ireland. And they say the luck of the Irish didn't need any luck today.
It certainly did not. It was a fantastic ride and quality ride by the 36-year-old. And he'll enjoy his moment, but it's now time for the gold medal ride-off, and we have Australia versus the USA. So the USA is chasing their 2nd gold medal of this track cycling meet. They already won one on day 1 of the Paralympics, but now they're hunting for the 2nd.
So we have the Paralympic record holder in David Nicholas, 3:32.336, and also Joseph Barigny, who went 3:34.394. Here he is, the American. It was impressive in the qualifying round, that time of 3:34.394. And David Nicholas, the man hailing from Rockhampton in Queensland in Australia. Can he better that Paralympic record? Judging by the times, it's going to be just a race for the gold at this point. But there's plenty of age between them as well, with David Nicholas 24 years of age, Barigny 47 on the left. So away they go in the gold medal race of the men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit.
So let's look for an early indication of how that start went. Of course, the start not quite as crucial in this slightly longer distance. 3,000 metres is a speed endurance event. There's only half a second in it at the early stage. The Australian got the better start out of the pair. Can he build on that? So Barigny 0.719 off the pace at the moment, but early days.
Early days indeed, but it's been a slick start from Nicholas, who did this in the qualifying round as well, getting off to an absolute flyer. And after the first 2 laps, oh, there's little in it. There's nothing in it. That is so close. So Barigny making a statement early on and has challenged Nicholas in the first 625 metres and has a little bit of a margin.
Well, this is a sensational ride by Barigny. After a bit of a sketchy start, he was half a second off the pace and is really cranking it up now. But gee, this is going to be a fantastic finish for both cyclists.
It's going to be a nail biter for both countries. 1,000 metres, 1:13.090 from Barigny, 0.6 in front of Nicholas, who has the younger legs, and that's after a third of the race. The time for Barigny, 1:13.090 at the 1,000 metre mark. So is Nicholas just conserving a little bit here and just trying to save something for the last 1,000 metres? Barigny's really lifted and has driven hard in the last 500 metres. 1,500 metres, the halfway mark. This is a crucial point of the race. Let's have a look. It's still at 0.6, so Barigny staving off the Australian at this point, remembering that Nicholas did put out a lot of exertion earlier on in the day, taking the Paralympic record just to qualify for this final.
Yes, he certainly did, and this is a real test of his conditioning and preparations for these games, to pull out a stunning performance in the early session and then have to back up to ride for gold later on. And well, he's managed to pull that deficit in ever so slightly. Can he build on that? But Barigny riding strong, riding well. Both coaches standing by the side of the track there, willing the cyclists on, and again Nicholas bringing that deficit down ever so slightly again, 0.4 of a second.
So we have the Paralympic record holder and the defending Paralympic champion. That's Nicholas and Barigny, respectively. Barigny just holds Nicholas by 0.261, but he's starting to whittle it down. This is going to be so close.
Well, Nicholas is winding it up here. It's now just 0.042 of a second off the pace, and Barigny really needs to hold his nerve, hold his line, and find something a little bit deeper in the tank. And Nicholas has hit the front.
He's in front. Barigny, we know he can lift into the final 2 laps. of this men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit. Now 1 lap, the Paralympic bell sounds, the encouragement from the coach on the lower side of the velodrome. It is Nicholas just in front of Berenier, and now there's only half a lap to go. It looks as though Nicholas is going to stave off Berenier. It's going to be a second, and they're going to be cheering in Rockhampton. It's a gold medal to Australia. 3:33.028. It's about 0.7 slower than the Paralympic record, but it doesn't matter. He's got the box set, the record earlier in the day, and now the gold medal. Silver medal, Joe Berenier has put up a big performance as well. The World Championship gold medal this year, and now the Paralympic silver.
Well, gee, what a performance in the end. David Nicholas was off the pace for the bulk of that race, and we thought maybe he was a little tired from his Paralympic record time this morning, but in the end his time was really not that far off record pace. And Berenier, well, the first 2/3 of that race incredibly strong and looking so dominant, opened up a lead of about 1.5 seconds, but in the end David Nicholas, racing beyond his years really, at just 24 years of age, showed extraordinary maturity to stick at it.
Yes, 24 years of age, and his debut for Australia was in 2010 in the World Championships in Canada. So even though he's 24 years of age, he has had plenty of experience at the top level, at world level, known as Diesel Dave, and he'll have plenty to celebrate after this big win. A 3 times gold medalist at the National Championships in Adelaide back last year. That was 3 weeks after leaving hospital. So he is an extraordinary campaigner, and there is the coach just draping the Australian flag around our winner.
Well, he certainly has had a rough time with injury, and that'll make victory even sweeter for David Nicholas. Born in Rockhampton, and as you said, Rockhampton will be celebrating this effort indeed, and it's actually not the last we've seen of David Nicholas for these games. Another 3 events on his agenda, but he can celebrate this fantastic start. A gold in his first event at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games.
Well, we've seen plenty of the Union Jack so far in this track cycling campaign. We'll throw in a few stars as well for the Australian flag. So that wraps up the racing in this session. We've got a couple of victory ceremonies to go.
We do. So the medal tally at the moment, well, in the gold realm at least, Great Britain has their 5 gold medals, China 2, and the USA and Australia each have 1 gold medal, and that's after 2 days of track cycling and some healthy support. But it's fair to say the Brazilian crowd as well have been extremely hospitable to the international athletes. Very supportive. And really contributing to a great atmosphere here at the velodrome.
So an average speed of almost 51 kilometres an hour. David Nicholas. Completing our racing program on day 2, and you can see the elation there. A lot of hard work has been worth it.
So we still have the victory ceremonies. First up, we'll have the men's 3,000 metres individual pursuit. That is the C2 category. So we've made our way through the C1, the C2, the C3 categories in this session. So 2 victory ceremonies to come.
Tears of joy. Look at that. I say that's what the Paralympics are all about. If you put your mind to anything, you can succeed, and so much hard work is put in. that belief day in, day out, and sometimes even the belief might leave you for a while, but just to get here is a hard campaign of toil and emotion flowing out for David Nicholas, our gold medalist in the C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit. We have the victory ceremony next for the C2 3,000 metre individual pursuit, and this was a brilliant winner, Liang Dihua, defending his title, world record holder, Paralympic record holder. He's got the full kit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the men's at C2 3,000 meters individual pursuits.
Senhoras e senhores, a cerimônia de premiação da perseguição individual, classe C2 masculina.
So victory ceremony for the men's C2 3,000 metre individual pursuit, won by Liang Dihua. Real up-and-comer for Great Britain. Lewis Rolfe in the picture as well in third place, being separated by Kristen Chenot from Canada. In the silver medal position.
Welcome the medalists.
Por favor, deem as boas-vindas aos medalhistas.
So another brilliant performance by a Chinese athlete on day 2 of the track cycling program. Liang Guihua, of course, setting a Paralympic record on his way to winning the gold medal in the men's C2 3,000 metres individual pursuit.
Will be presented by the governing board member of the International Paralympic Committee and the Municipal Attorney General.
Medalhas serão entregues pelo senhor Yasushi Yamawaki, membro do Conselho Executivo do Comitê Paralímpico Internacional, acompanhado pelo senhor Alexandre Teshima, diretor de instalações da Rio 2016.
Bronze medalist representing Great Britain.
Medalha de bronze, representando a Grã-Bretanha.
Only 19 years of age. An up-and-comer. He's gained so much experience out of this preparation. It's been extremely hard to wipe the smile off his face even from when he got off the bike. He's loved every minute of it.
Silver medalist, representing Canada.
Medalha de prata, representando o Canadá, Tristan Chertonov.
Chanot, satisfied look on the face of the Canadian. Job well done.
Gold medalist and a Paralympic champion, representing the People's Republic of China.
Medalha de ouro, bicampeão paralímpico, representando a República Popular da China.
He really has excited us. Liang Jihua from China.
He is 32 years of age and managed to defend his title from London. What a sensational performance and a great day out, setting a record of winning gold. Very, very big day for China on the track.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anthem of the People's Republic of China.
Senhoras e senhores, o hino da República Popular da China.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Paralympic medalists.
Senhoras e senhores,
So in the
os
end, it was
medalhistas
gold for China,
paralímpicos.
silver Canada, bronze Great Britain.
So, sweet victory there for Liang Guihua, managing to back up his success in London 4 years later, and not only doing that, managing to set a Paralympic record. And his world record still stands from 2014. So we know he can go even faster than he did today.
And nothing to say, at 32 years of age, that form won't continue in the upcoming 2 to 4 years either.
So just the one victory ceremony left in this final session on day 2 of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. We have the victory ceremony for the men's C3 3,000 metres individual pursuit, and that will round out our program for day 2 of these games. Of course, the track cycling continuing on day 3 and day 4. Plenty more action to bring you from the Rio Velodrome.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments' time, we bring you our final victory ceremony of this evening's racing.
Senhoras e senhores, dentro de instantes teremos a última cerimônia de premiação desta noite.
A glow shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you can lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls and feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road. You've got no destination in the mind. In the maze of her imagination, love is down. Even if that doesn't ring true, you've been all over, and it's been all over you. It's a beautiful day. So let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Touch me, take me to that other place. Teach me, I know I'm not a hopeless case.
So rounding out the session on day 2 of the track cycling at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, the final victory ceremony for day 2, the men's 3,000 metres individual pursuit. And it was Australia taking the gold, the US taking the silver, and Ireland taking the bronze medal. We'll introduce our medalists to you shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the men's at C3 3,000 metres individual pursuit.
Senhoras e senhores, a cerimônia de premiação da perseguição individual masculina C3. Por favor, deem as boas-vindas aos medalhistas.
So the victory ceremony of the men's C3 3,000 metre individual pursuit.
Member of the International Paralympic Committee,
Mr.
accompanied
Yasushi
by the Municipal
Yamawaki,
Attorney General.
board member of the IPC, officiating
Medalhas
here.
serão entregues pelo senhor Yasushi Yamawaki, membro do Conselho Executivo do Comitê Paralímpico Internacional, acompanhado
Mr.
pelo
Fernando
senhor
dos Santos
Dionísio,
Dionisio, the
procurador-geral do
Attorney
município.
General of
Bronze
the local
medalist
municipality.
representing Ireland.
Medalha de bronze, representando a Irlanda, York Clifford.
And Clifford from Ireland, first medal for Ireland at the track cycling here in 2016 in Rio Paralympic Games, taking the bronze medal race against Michael Semets from Canada.
He backed up extremely well. It was a pretty tough jostle for those top 4 positions, in particular 3rd and 4th and 5th, to finish in the right position to compete in the bronze medal right-off. And Owen Clifford has done extremely well,
Silver medalist
bravely taking that bronze.
the United States of America.
Medalha de prata, representando os Estados Unidos da América, Joseph Pereni.
Joseph Bereni from the USA recorded an excellent time in the qualification round and then really served it up to David Nicholas throughout the final, the gold medal race in this individual pursuit.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Australia.
Medalha de ouro e campeão paralímpico, representando a Austrália, David Nicholas.
They'll be cheering in Rockhampton in Australia and the country town of Proserpine where David resides. A 24-year-old is a proud man.
So David Nicholas comes away with a Paralympic record from the earlier session of qualifying and now gets to take home a gold medal as well. And it's the first of a number of events in the track and road cycling program for all of these athletes.
The anthem of Australia.
Senhoras e senhores, o hino da Austrália.
Well, there we have it. The
Ladies and
medalists
gentlemen,
of the C3 3,000 metres individual pursuit.
Senhoras e senhores,
Australia, the USA and Ireland. Gold, silver and bronze. A time for celebration and much jubilation for these three athletes, and they can enjoy their medals for now, but all of them have very busy programs coming up in these games. All are competing in 3 or more events across the track and road program. But for now, time to taste success and relax and enjoy the moment.
So an entertaining afternoon of action at the velodrome, and it looks as though the youth are really getting involved. They're loving it.
Well, it has been a very entertaining day. Well, day 2, and that is wrapping up our session at the Rio Olympic Velodrome, and another 2 days of track cycling to come, and plenty more medals still to be decided.
Yes, 5 golds were distributed on this day 2 of the cycling track program. 2 of them to China, 2 of them to Great Britain, and 1 to Australia.